And we're joined by Doug Rankmore, the CEO of the Kelowna General Hospital Foundation. Thanks for coming on our program.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about how you became involved with the KGH Foundation in the first place.
Well, it's interesting, we kind of arrived here by accident. Our car actually broke down here on our way through, and we just loved the place so much we stayed. Literally.
Seriously?
Yeah, literally. And at that time...
So how long ago was this?
1991.
Okay.
Yep. At that time, I'd been working in nonprofit for probably 15 years at that time, and I was really interested in philanthropy and foundation work, and I actually got in touch with one of the board of directors, a couple of the board of directors at that time, just made some inquiries, and seemed like a great organization, was really doing important work. There wasn't an opportunity at that time, so my wife Sheila and I did kind of other things in the community, contributed in other ways, and then an opportunity showed up about 8 years ago, and yeah, it's been an amazing journey. It's been a ton of fun there, and really important work. I feel very blessed to be able to do the work we do.
So you work in a sector where every organization like UBCO, the hospital, everyone has now, I mean, you have to have a professional organization that seeks philanthropy, gets its story out there, and makes sure that people are considering you for their charitable dollars. It's competitive, isn't it? It's sometimes almost one against another. I'm sure you don't like to think of it that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it competitive. I think it's a little arrogant to think that you can influence somebody to your cause if they're not interested in it, or it's not something that appeals to them, or not something that's in their heart. I think the vast majority of people who give know what they want to give to, and that's what they become involved with or interested in, or seek some avenue to support. So folks who support one type of healthcare or the arts or anything like that, I think that, I think it's just not very clear thinking to think that you can dissuade somebody and bring them over to your
Right.
cause with a good story. People are generally pretty bright, and they know what they want to support.
Yeah, and I think that healthcare is something that, we all have health, and so there's obviously a personal connection in most people's lives that you have, at least as a starting place.
Yeah, at some point or another, you're going to enter the doors of the hospital. And for most people, it's some of the most poignant times of their lives in one way or another. Lives are saved there literally every day by the hour. And many people don't come out those doors as well. It's just a natural part of life. So it's a very poignant place to be, the hospital, a very important place for many people, and a really amazing place, amazing group of people there. People there joke, well, just couldn't attend your meeting. I was just saving lives, that's all.
Yeah. So you are often sort of a bridge between the public and what goes on at the hospital, and you've been that at a time when the hospital is really kind of transformed. There was a time, and maybe that was even before 1991, when Kelowna General Hospital really was a hospital mainly for Kelowna. But it's really rolled into something a lot bigger than that. It's really a provincial hospital. It serves a wide area that goes well beyond the specific local needs. And so how's that growth look from your perspective?
It's pretty amazing, frankly. Kelowna General, although it's in a city of 120,000 people, serves 750,000. For some of the services it has, serves over 1 million people. It has a full cardiac program, a full thoracic medicine program. It's a teaching hospital. It has the Southern Medical program there. So it's a facility you would only find in a larger metropolitan area. And to some extent, actually, Kelowna General is far better than many of the large city hospitals that are here. I'm not sure many people know, but Kelowna General has 22 operating rooms. It's the same number that VGH has in Vancouver. And Kelowna General is the only kind of full-service surgical hospital in the province, because in a larger center like Vancouver, different hospitals specialize. Some don't do trauma, some don't do obstetrics, those kinds of things. So really Kelowna General does everything.
More going on there really than anywhere.
Yeah, short of transplants and specialized pediatric, Kelowna General has it all. And not only do they have it all, they have some of the best literally in the country. Last year, the cardiac program was rated as, had the best outcomes literally of any hospital in the country.
So with this growth, though, come some challenges that I'm sure you see. So you've got to get out there and keep people engaged with what's going on and what the needs are, primarily in this immediate community, but yet for a hospital that serves such a big area. So it's great that for people in Kelowna to have so much services here, but yet we need to support a hospital that does so much more. So, it's a bit of a challenge, I'm sure.
Well, Joanna's House is a great example of that. That's nobody from Kelowna will ever stay at Joanna's House in all likelihood. That's for people who have to travel for care. And yet the vast majority of funding of that has come from people living in Kelowna. They get it. They get how desperate it can be for people. They get how urgent it is when somebody has, you're following an ambulance, you're following an air ambulance in that has your brand new baby in it.
Yeah.
I actually think it's a bit of an honor and a privilege to be able to work to support the healthcare needs for people from even the broader area. The hospital is involved in some pretty amazing programs. We're just right now working with neurologists at the hospital to provide neurological telehealth program throughout Interior Health to provide early stroke intervention and other interventions through 24/7, 365 access to a neurologist through telehealth wherever they are.
Right, so you've got long-term projects like Joanna's House. I like the way you framed that. Think about that. There's been so much community support for that, and yet it's really not for us. When I say us, I mean people in Kelowna. Amazing.
Well, you know it as well as I do. This is an amazing community.
Right.
Amazingly generous, and a really great group of people have moved here. Certainly since I've been here, this is an extraordinary community, extraordinary people, extraordinary backgrounds, and I think very generous.
So on the other end of the spectrum, we've got things like Joanna's House, which is sort of a long-term project. We knew it was coming. We see it being built. We know that it'll be completed. But then there's things that happen quickly, like we had some difficulty with our cardiac situation where we kind of fell behind provincial standards. We needed some equipment.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to be fast on your feet.
And that's where the foundation can really help the people of the area. At one point, just because of the growing population here and how swiftly it's been growing and how swiftly the cardiac program's been growing, the number of referrals that come to it, the cardiac program was quite behind in its referrals for echocardiograms. And echoes are literally a life-saving diagnostic tool, and they're sometimes quite urgent. So when the health authority found itself somewhat behind national standards, they actually got together and went through a model, analyzed what they needed, and came to the foundation and said very quickly, if we have 2 echocardiographs, we can get back within national standards very quickly. We actually bought those 2 machines, and one went into the cardiologist's office and one at the hospital, which was a really kind of revolutionary thing. It sounds simple, but it's not done very often, or I don't think it's been done before. And they actually took the wait list from 3,000 people to 0 in a matter of months.
And thanks to your organization for making it happen, right? For getting some...
Well, we were just there, and thanks to the community, we were prepared to be able to do that.
Right. Sometimes I wonder, okay, you talk about, the hospital or the health authority falling behind standards. Shouldn't the province just write a check right now and do it? I guess it's always been the model that they give enough funding for you to sort of run things, but it seems like there's always been a need to have a fundraising arm as well to bring the standards up to what people expect.
Yeah, I think that's the key phrase, what people expect. The provincial government there's only so much money in the pot. And there's a lot of needs around the province. There's not a lot of needs around interior health. It's a very diverse region. It's the size of Germany. It's got 3 mountain ranges in it, 22 hospitals. It's quite a diverse area to help support. So provincial government provides what a provincial standard can provide. The community then takes that and elevates that to the level that they really want in their community. And in this community, they've really elevated it to a world-class level.
And I guess having that model where there is base funding and then this sort of local element, I guess gives the community a chance to put its own signature on what the delivery of care should look like for this community.
Absolutely. People are interested in different things, and hopefully we've got something for everybody. Healthcare is a pretty broad area, but that's what people get to do. They get to, if cardiac, if they have their own cardiac issue, that's something they can give to. If it's stroke or something around brain health, then they can give to that.
We were talking earlier, I mean, it's your job to make fundraising happen, but yet you don't feel like you're going around town begging.
Not at all.
You're just telling the story.
Yep. People really understand that concept, that if we want more here, we can do that. We can do that together. Interestingly, in philanthropy and in fundraising, we rarely ask for money. We ask if people are interested. We ask if they want to have an impact, make a difference in their community. And that's what people respond to.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming in and telling
Thanks,
us
Ken.
about what you do. Doug Rankmore, the CEO of the Kelowna General Hospital Foundation. And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.